No, stop. I'm going to literally beat you up. I can't handle you. Oh my gosh. Shut up. Well, I thought I didn't want to do a live stream today. I was just kind of tired. And I thought to myself, well, I'm on a stretch of road. And I think we got about an hour I can do it to where it's not going to be dark. But we're basically on 44 from Joplin to St. Louis. Okay, which is, I'm 300 miles from St. Louis. So I thought, I'll just do a live stream, end it tonight, do one, because everybody is sitting. We have 27 people, 22 people waiting to watch Brian Young. I don't know what, pontificate? Stop it. I'm gonna stop it. Oh my God. Yeah, he wasn't this way about an hour or 2 hours ago. He was in mode down mode.
No.
Oh, you were.
No.
Oh my God.
Can I mute it real quick?
So I don't really have any news. Okay, I want to get on that and read comments.
I don't know how to read.
So I don't know what to really talk about. And David will show me questions that you guys.
It won't work. Every time I get on it, this thing goes down.
Yeah.
If it involves me, no.
It's about me. Well, I guess I'll tell you this. So everybody, you probably wonder, people always kind of wonder, okay, well, how did you get started? Or what got you to be the person you are? I guess that would be the question, I've always loved to make money and
You on channel 2?
try to, channel 2. I've always tried to want to make money and do things to make money, my funnest part of my life was from 1970 to about 1970 when we moved from Toledo to Bowling Green when my mom married Mac. When I lived next to Franklin Park, so I'm 11-year-old boy. I'm 11-year-old boy. I went from Iowa, Burlington, Iowa, to Toledo. And my mom was living at the Imperial Trace Apartments that were literally right next to the Franklin Park Mall as it was being built. Okay, the thing was being built in 1970, okay? Literally being built, okay? It was going to be the mall of Toledo, which it is. It's the only mall left. They made Franklin or Southwick, and that was taken over by gangs. And so Franklin Park is the only of the 4 malls. Toledo had 4 malls at one time, and it's the only mall left. Okay, and so I moved there in 1970 as it was being constructed, and being a 11-year-old, and seeing all this happen, the construction and all the construction equipment and everything, it was like a natural, Now my mom my mom was poor, so we went from being very rich, okay, being upper middle class. My dad was a vice president of Foodtown Corporation or Foodtown Groceries in Toledo. And we lived in Ottawa Hills, upper middle class, way upper middle class. He was vice president of sales of Foodtown Corporation. He's the one that would buy property and put a store on it. That he was great at it. And I'll tell you another story about my dad later on. But and then my parents got divorced in 1969, and my dad moved to Iowa, and my mom had to literally sell the house because she was broke, because my dad would never pay alimony. And so she had to get a job, and we moved to she moved to the Imperial Trace Apartments. And then that's when my mom got custody of me, Becky, Susan, and Karen. Susan and Karen were kind of a little older, so they were, seniors and that kind of stuff. And so we moved to Franklin Park Mall, and I didn't have any money. This is how I got into slot cars, and so I would start to figure out ways of making money. How do I make money? And I would do anything to make money. And one of the biggest things that I made money was I became a shoe shine boy. And there was a barber shop that was right next to Franklin Park Mall. It was called Southwick, I think, Barber or whatever. There were 3-4 barbers in there. One of the owners, all these guys were really great, actually. All these barbers, they really helped me into learning how to shine shoes. Now, the thing about being a barber is the amount of money that I made in 1970. Okay, so I would shine a shoe for 50 cents. Now, 50 cents back in 1971, I could buy a hamburger, fry, and a Coke for 25 to 30 cents. Okay? So 50 cents went a long way. And so I would shine 10 or 12 guys' shoes a day and make $6-7 on one evening. I mean, it really made me a lot of money. And I was 11 years old. I was making $5-6 a day shining shoes.
That doesn't seem a lot now.
No, it doesn't seem anything, but oh my gosh, I could buy one slot car you could buy for $5. And that was one thing that I did. I remember there was a lady that lived right next to the Imperial Trace Apartment. She had a nice house and a nice big yard. And she said to me, she said, "Can you mow my yard every week for $20? $20 back in 1971 was like $100 now." And I would just do anything for money. And I told you guys this one. And one thing I always tell me, everything that I tell you, all the stories that I say and I talk about, everything is 100% true. I don't embellish on anything that I did as a kid. Everything is 100% true. And my life really is who created how I am now. I mean, there's really no difference. And I remember that, we didn't have any money. We had no television. We didn't have a color TV. We didn't even have black and white TV. My mom had money. I would come home after school, and there would be nothing in the refrigerator, nothing in the drawers. There'd be no food. Now my aunt, my mother's sister, would always bring by bags of groceries, like once a month. She would drop off a bunch of stuff. And I don't think...
I almost said I was... So
Yes, it is. Okay, so what I would do is, so in the basement of the apartment complex, because this apartment was kind of a, I wouldn't say a low-income apartment complex. You know, it was kind of a middle-class apartment complex. You know, average workers, but then you had higher people that would like take two apartments and combine them into one big apartment. You could do two-story apartments where they would, because this was a two-story apartment complex, you could cut a hole and have steps to go from the upper and the lower part. And then there was a basement to this apartment complex. And some people, if you lived on the bottom floor, you could then request to have, you know, a basement where you could, you know, turn it into a family room or a living room.
She slugged her on the ground, said good evening.
Good evening. And so I would go into the basement, and people would throw away a lot of stuff in the basement. They would just put stuff into the basement.
Jim said, trust work, I'll bet door to door not easy, I would think.
Right. People would throw old televisions downstairs because in the 1970s, television started to change. They were going to solid circuit, and a lot of people had tube televisions. All through the 60s, they were all tube televisions.
Lucky.
And so I would take all these televisions that wouldn't work because of either they would scroll horizontally or they would scroll vertically. And I took all the tubes from all these TVs and I would take them to Lane's drugstore. They had a tube tester. And I would take, you know, there must have been 10, 15 TVs down there. And I had a bag full of all these tubes. And so I would go and test all these tubes. And if they were bad, I would just throw them away. Then I would categorize them according to which tubes they were. Okay, because all the televisions used the standard tubes. So I was taking tubes, okay, and fixing televisions. Now, I could have shocked myself because these TVs were high voltage. Oh my gosh, I could have killed myself so many times. But I would take out the old tubes and I'd put new tubes in and I'd get a television to work. So one day I remember, I'll never forget, one day I was watching television from one of my new black and white televisions. I got all working there, and it works perfectly. And my mom comes home from work, and she looks at me, and she goes, "Where'd you get that?" I go, "I found these in the basement. I'm getting all these TVs working." And she started to cry. My mom started to cry, and she basically said, "I wish I had the money to be able to buy you things." And I looked at her. I said, "What, are you kidding me? Mom, look at it. I got a brand new television for nothing. All I had to do is fix it. I just put new tubes in it." That was the neatest thing I ever did. Was fix televisions, tube televisions, in 1971. No, I don't, frankly, especially from you.
What did I do?
Just being here. And then another way I was able to collect money, and this was as Franklin Park was being built. You know, you had 300 or 400 guys going in there and working every day, you know, building this, you know, cement workers, concrete workers, you know, steel workers, and they would be drinking hundreds of bottles of Coke. Coca-Cola, pop, all sorts of pop. And they would leave their bottles all around the construction site. So every night, I would go and collect all the bottles. And right across the street from Franklin Park was Joseph's grocery store. And they were a bottle redemption. And I would go and take with bags full of bottles. And I would turn all these bottles in. And I'd get 10 cents to 15 cents a bottle. Okay, as a refund. I think it was 5 cents. You know, I think it was 5 cents to start with, because I remember one day I go there and I have a shopping cart filled with bottles. I mean, there must have been 50 bottles in this shopping cart. And she gives me, I don't know if she gives me $5 or $10. And I go, why so much? She goes, well, the bottle refund went from a nickel to a dime. And I go, holy moly, that just doubled all my income. And that's where I was able to buy more slot cars, because right in Franklin Park was the Hobby Center. And I can imagine it right to this day. I can envision the Hobby Center.
Door-to-door sales, apparently door-to-door campaign, local politician lobby.
What? What are they saying?
Said door-to-door sales and
Oh, I would go door to door. I got this printing press, this little printing set, you know, those little cheap kids printing sets. And so I created a little card that I passed around to everybody at the apartment complex. Brian Young, fix it. I can fix anything. And I'm 11 years old and I passed these little fix-it things out. I didn't know how to fix anything. I just went to people that they asked me, can you fix this? I said, yeah, I'll try. At 11 years old. I made so much money doing that. And then I remember my mom got a phone call. My mom got a phone call.
Job in high school is $125.
How many slot cars did you own? Well, okay, so
As a kid.
I would go, I'll tell you that story in a minute, but there was another way I made money too, is my dad, after my mom's divorce, my mom got all the photo equipment. So she had a projector, a movie projector, old-fashioned 8mm movie, or Super 8mm movie projector. And I would go to Sears or JCPenney's, which was right next door, and I'd go buy these little 3-minute movies. And I would go into my room, I'd make popcorn, and I would then put around town, all around the apartment, movie night, a 3-minute movie. The kids would come over, because they didn't have any entertainment. There was no television, and everybody didn't have television in everybody's house. And so I would show these movies and charge a dime to get in, and you'd get a cup of popcorn and some orange juice or some Kool-Aid, and I would make money. Another way of making money was show these movies. And I remember one movie that I could make a lot of money on, and that was Frankenstein versus Wolfman. And there was one scene that was in this 1-minute video that showed, it was at the end of the movie where the water basically comes and destroys the castle. Okay, and so the castle is crumbling down. So what I would do is I would do it in reverse, and the kids would love to see that, see the building come back up and then crumble, come back up and crumble. And so I would do it back and forth, and it would always make I'd make $2 or $3 showing these movies. And then I would take that money and I would go over to Hobby Center and buy me a Thunderjet. They were only $7.95. Okay, I must have had, oh my gosh, 30 or 40 Thunderjets from 1970, 71. I didn't have
You said the Frankenstein and the Wolfman were fighting to death.
Yes, they were fighting at the end of the movie, and the dam.
Said, and it was all, I don't listen to anyone belly-acting about politics unless their name has been on the ballot.
When you talk, you have to be louder so I can understand a word you're saying.
I don't know.
So read it to me so I can hear you.
Adam said, guess who's going to visit PTT on Friday?
Yeah, Adam's coming over on Friday. Oh my goodness. You have to read them so I can hear them.
So as a result, I don't listen to anyone
Bellyac.
about politics unless their name has been on the ballot.
I've been on the ballot. I ran for mayor back in 1994, Bowling Green.
Oh, guess what Adam said?
What?
I'll bring us some donuts. You'll love that.
So I ran for mayor back in 1994 for Bowling Green, Ohio. I had $1,000. I went door to door. I got the Republican established at Bowling Green were so upset, okay, that I was running, and the current mayor had to debate me, which he didn't want to. And I got 800 votes for campaigning for 2 months. He got 1,200. I almost won. I think if I had more money, I could have actually won.
What does money have to do?
Because you could spend more money on advertising. I had a lot of people sign up for my campaign. I remember one sheriff had signed my petition, and then he came in my store one day and he was so upset. He goes, "Do you realize, Brian, that they actually came up to me and asked me why I signed your petition? Can you believe that?" He was so upset that they confronted him for signing my petition. I was just trying to change Bowling Green. It's really never changed. Bowling Green is the same town. So that's how I started buying slot cars. Is I'd buy them one at a time, and then in 1972, my mom started dating Mac Miller, and then we moved. So that was maybe it was 73. I was 14, I think. 13. I was just finishing 6th grade, and so when I moved to Bowling Green, I was in 7th grade. I went to the junior high, and I think I was 14 at the time.
Do you have any of those Thunderjets now?
No. So what happened was, a lot of that stuff was at my house all through the 70s, and it was all stored upstairs in the garage. And then when I got married, then Kathy and I, we settled in Bowling Green. So a lot of that stuff, it was in my shed.
Notophobia, the fear of being run over by a green car.
Yes. And so what happened was, we lived in Bowling Green in the Imperial Trace apartment complex, and we had a mobile home, and behind it I built a 10 by 10 shed, 8 by 10 I think. Maybe it was a 10 by 10. And I had all my toys in there. And when I was in the Navy, I had finished this 4-foot long USS Missouri, remote control. It was beautiful. The thing was absolutely beautiful. And I had all my slot cars in there. I had maybe 100 slot cars. Everything was in this shed. All my rare toys that I had collected, I was keeping. Our bedroom was in the back room. And
I'm lagging.
Some kids had broken into that shed and they torched it. All my battleship burnt to a crisp. All my slot cars that I had, all were burnt. This was in we're losing signal for some reason. I don't know why. So all the slot cars that I had when I was...
What was your first car? Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was the Ford Mustang. The Ford Mustang and the Cudas. Not Cudas, but Cheetahs. That's one thing that I'm upset about AFX, is they make the same cars They have all these bodies that they have, and they just keep making the same cars, and there's no variety in their lineup. It's just the GT40, GT40, GT40. Yeah, they come out with the Corvettes, but you know, they have all these old models, and why they don't keep making these older models, I have no idea.
My uncle said my first car was a 1938 Plymouth P5.
P5. But that's how I was always buying something. Another way I made money, which, man, I couldn't believe how much money I was making. So obviously we lived right next to Franklin Park Mall. And in the winter, you know, when a bunch of people were coming to the mall, okay, I would stand out in the parking lot, and as people came to their cars, I would scrape their windows so that when they got in, their cars were all scraped. Now, I didn't ask for any money. I just said, there you go. And then if they wanted to give me a tip, they'd give me a tip. And 9 times out of 10, I would get a tip for scraping people's windows off. That made a lot of money. I would do anything to make money. You know, I was always thinking of an idea. How could I make money at this? How could I make money at this? And because my mom didn't have the money. She had no money, period. I remember going to school one day. I was walking down, because our school was like not even an eighth of a mile from my house. Horseman School, which they've torn down. They tore down Imperial Trace Apartments. They tore down everything.
You said, where are you guys tonight?
And so I remember I was walking to school. I was walking down the first floor of the apartment. It was about, you know, maybe 400 feet. And I'm walking down the hallway, and I see a piece of paper on the floor, and I pick it up and I just stick it in my pocket. And I'm walking, and then I get to school, and I'm sitting there in class, and I don't know what the teacher's doing. I was bored and everything. And so I grabbed the paper. I said, oh yeah, I picked this paper up. And so I grabbed the piece of paper and I opened it up, and there's $5 inside this piece of paper. I go, oh my gosh, $5? I'm rich. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, $1 went a long way back then. We are on 44 headed toward St. Louis. We are headed to St. Louis. There was no traffic today. Absolutely no traffic.
No wind either.
No wind, no traffic. I mean, there's no traffic right now. No traffic right now. My sister worked at Franklin Park Mall. My sister Dora, she graduated, I think, in 1971 from Whitmer High School, and she worked at. She was a manager at one of the clothing stores, and. I mean, Franklin Park Mall was the mall. I mean, it was really the mall in town. And then they built, well, Northwood was the first mall, and then you had Woodville Mall, and then you had Southwick. Southwick was built to be the premium mall. Okay, they built Southwick to be the best. It was going to be the premium mall of Toledo. But then what they did is they built Title, and I don't know if it's called Title 800 or Title 600 housing right next to it. And literally within 5 years, from
James said Brian is a talker.
From 2000 to 2005, it literally went downhill. No police, and the gangs just took over the entire mall. and it was closed. Then they just tore it down, and now there's a Amazon fulfillment center there. It's amazing. It was the premium mall. I used to do a lot of POG tournaments there. Oh my gosh, I made so much money selling POGs. Holy moly. That's when I had Young's Newsstand. Oh my gosh. POGs.
How old are you?
I am 65.
How old are you?
I'll be 66 in June. I can't believe it, actually.
Well, it's pretty much.
Oh, wait a minute. It's 2024. No, I'll be 60. Wait a minute. All right. I was born in 1959. All right, 2019, I was 60. 2019, I was 60. So I'll be 60. I'll be 65 this June. Or will I be 64 this June?
You're 60.
No.
You don't even know your own birthday?
Well, I was born in 59. So in 1919, June of 19, I was 60. June of 19, I was 60. June of 2020, I was 61. 22, I was 62. 23, 64. 25, 24, I was 64. 65, that's right. June, I'll be 65. Right, okay. I was putting more years on me. So, it's, what time? It's almost 6 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock in Ohio. We're only an hour difference now. Once I hit Indiana, I'll be same time zone.
Hours left we gotta go?
Well, we are still a long way.
I know.
We're gonna east side of St. Louis.
But how many hours are we?
Well, from St. Louis will be about 6 hours or 8 hours. We get up at 6. We'll be home by 2, hopefully. So that's kind of my history.
Dale said you're old. You're too old.
Can we come back? So, when I was in elementary school, this was before my parents got divorced. I did have some. I had dyslexia really bad, and so I was in special classes. My mom would have to drive me to Cleveland to take me to this special doctor, and
My chat disconnected.
and so I wasn't great in school. I wasn't. I was always. I remember in elementary when I was in first grade, I wanted to do a blueprint of the elementary school, and so they took me around the entire elementary school so I could get an idea what it looked like, and then I did a blueprint of the elementary school. I was always doing weird things because I would ask to do all these odd things, and then I had special reading teachers in Horseman, and I was just kind of an odd kid, I always wanted to do odd things, but I loved living in the apartment, the Imperial Trace apartment. I loved it. I got into model railroad. I built a giant model railroad because I had bunk beds, and I put it on the bottom bunk bed. I put a giant model railroad.
I can't see my chat.
It was so cheap to do this stuff. in the 1970s. All this stuff was inexpensive, and I was just having fun. Slot cars, model trains, just doing everything that I wanted to do. And now, man,
You should get gas. Just in case.
we will have to stop once we hit the hour mark.
Once you hit the what?
Daylight savings, I think, changes next week. What did that guy say?
I don't know my chat's not.
Yeah, it was. It was right
It's
there.
not working.
Yeah, it is. You gotta click it.
Nothing's working.
You pushed a button there on the bottom. Hey, you're not at current.
Someone color.
What? Start it over again. No, I mean get out of it and start over. Come on, man. The comments are right here.
I know. There we go. Adam said stay on the road. Jim said come on, man.
Come on, man.
It's working now.
So that's basically my story of what I did as a kid. I mean, it's amazing the things I was doing. I mean, David is 10 years old. The things I was doing as a 10-year-old, and even Frankie as an 11-year-old. Frankie's 13. Oh my gosh. The things I was doing at his age, it's crazy. And I remember going to work for Floyd Kraft at Ben Franklin's in Bowling Green. I was in high school, and Floyd would tell me to do a job, and I would get in my, okay, this is how I'm going to do this. And like 10 minutes later, I'd be, well, not 10, maybe an hour later, I'd be done with the project. And I'd be go, okay, what else do you need? And he would go, no, you don't have that done. Yeah, I got it done. And he would come and look, and yeah, sure enough, it was finished. And, you know, I was always getting stuff done ahead of time. I was always way ahead of whatever he planned me to do. And that's when I went into the Navy. And I was the same way in the Navy. I was always getting stuff done fast. You know, I never wanted to waste time. That's one thing I hated, was wasting time. They gave me a project to do. I wanted to get the project done
Wasting time
and not waste time. And that's why I think I moved up in my rank so fast. Because I was a first class, and
What are you, like, rich now?
I was a first class when basically I was 25 when I became first class. I passed the test. I remember. Congratulations.
I annoy you.
So that's how I got into this whole thing. I've just always been in sales. I was a storekeeper in the Navy.
Dal said you're just a big kid like most of us. Nobody's home said yes indeed. Dale.
I remember when I was, guys, I must have been 17. I was in Connecticut with my dad for the summer, and he got me a job at Stop and Shop Because he worked at Stop and Shop, my dad. Oh yeah, let me tell you a story about my dad. So my dad, you know, he wasn't the greatest dad. I'll just be honest with you. He was a good dad. I mean, he never hit me. I mean, other than one, I spanked me once. I mean, he was an okay guy. He never screamed or yelled at me. I mean, he was just, you know, but he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? He was there at certain points. I remember when I lived in Iowa, you know, he helped me do a Pinewood Derby, and I actually won with it because, you know, he said, okay, this is how you make this. This is how you're going to win. He was a winner. Dad was a winner. And so he went to Connecticut and worked for Stop and Shop, buying property and putting Stop and Shop grocery stores, you know, everywhere in New England. And this was, guys, 1990s, mid-90s, mid-80s. Yeah, mid-80s. Guys, what am I talking about? Mid-80s. And he decided to leave Stop and Shop and basically create his own company. Well, it didn't go very well. And Stop and Shop wanted him so bad that they hired him back at his existing salary and his existing pension, okay? Because his pension, when he retired, my gosh, unbelievable. And it's me, he only was there like 10 years, then he left, and then he came back, but he was so good at what he did. You know, he could find the right property and know exactly where to put a store. He was brilliant at that. You know, and that's worth money. If you've got a person that can do that for you, you know, and put a store, a giant store somewhere, you know, and know where to put it, that's what my dad was. That's who my dad was. And he was brilliant at doing it. I remember when I started working for Irwin Toy, and we had moved to the shed in Bowling Green, or in Wayne, and I had all my toys in this shed. This was, guys, in 2003 or 4, and he came for the summer, and this was like the second time he came visit. I really enjoyed him coming over. And anyways, so he's out in the shed with me. The shed looked completely different, and we were sitting in the chairs and everything, and I was kind of tinkering with the toys, and he looked at me, he goes, so this is what you do? You sell toys? I go, yeah, that's what I get paid for, Dad. I sell toys. He goes, really? Unbelievable. He couldn't believe I sold toys. That's
Probably thought you were.
That's what my job was, selling toys. And then later in his life, I went down to his house one day, and we spent time together. He was a nice guy. My dad, you know, I wish we had had more time together. I just wish we had spent more time together. That's why, you know, my kids are so important in my life. You know, except you, David, you're not important. No, they really are. You don't understand how important children are. I liked what Tucker Carlson said a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week. It was in an interview, and this one guy says, "What should the youth do nowadays?" And the first thing he says, you should have children. You should get married and have children. And that's true. You know, you should have as many children as you possibly can have. Honestly, if I could adopt 5 more kids, I would do it. If we could adopt 4 more kids, 6 more, I would do it. I would honestly do it. I mean,
You still got Nick.
I got Nick. I'm trying to get Nick to adopt Nick, and he still thinks I'm joking, and I'm not. He has no family. He's got no dad, no mom. His dad doesn't want anything to do with him. He has nobody. I think, well, you can't have a life like that. You got to have family. And it just doesn't make sense. And but my kids, their legacy, they're going to have, that's why, like with David and Frankie and Cameron and Mason, taking them out on movie nights, it's very important because it's a memory. They're gonna remember their grandfather. I remember being with my grandfather Ralph. I remember Grandfather Young. That was my dad's dad. I remember I was in the Navy. I went to his house one day. He gave me some really good advice, which I didn't listen to. I should have.
Did you get my message?
Yes.
That would be a lot of stir fry.
But my grandfather Ralph, he was just a great guy to be around, and now he was really my step grandfather. I really never knew my grandmother's or my mom's real dad. I think he died of alcoholism.
He died of
But
what?
Ralph was my grandmother's second husband, Ralph Bowers. Dixie Clark was my grandmother's real. Clark was her last name. Bowers was my grandfather, but he was just a great guy. I mean, you wanted to just hang around with him, okay? And I always wanted to just hang around with him. He'd always have a nub. What were those cigars? They were Dutch Masters. He'd always have a Dutch Master cigar about this big, always in his mouth, and he'd always be working it in the workshop, doing something, and he was just always fiddling with something and tinkering. He was always tinkering. Maybe that's how I came up with Professor Tinker. Just gonna Tinker and Sons. I still think Tinker and Sons is the name, but Adam doesn't think Tinker and Sons is the name.
Other people are there that aren't sons.
What?
But other people are there that aren't your son. Tinker King.
And so, what else do you want me to talk about? That's about it, man. I just told you the story of my life. Holy moly! What else do you want to know about me?
Why do you hate cats?
What?
Why do you hate cats?
I didn't hear you.
Why do you hate cats?
That's not a question. Get off of that. Get back on there. What'd they say?
Nothing. Nothing.
What did they say?
They didn't say anything.
It's starting to get dark.
I know.
We will go until it gets dark. I kind of said everything I'm going to say. I don't know what else to say.
There's no wind though. That's good. No wind. No traffic. No
It's amazing how the road just
Good
goes.
idea.
The road just goes forever. Look at the road. It goes forever.
It looks like it.
Look at that. It literally goes forever.
How do you feel about Adam's skip?
What now?
How do you feel about Adam and skip?
Adam what?
Adam's skip? No.
Adam's what?
That's skip or skite.
Adam's Schiff.
SHIFT.
Adam Schiff? I have no idea what that means.
How far are you coming back?
How far? Oh, he's an idiot.
So is the wind pushing you home?
Yes, the wind is pushing us home
Wait, where's the wind pushing?
because it blows west to east.
So where is the wind pushing us? Does it push
It's pushing
that way?
against here. It's going this way because we're kind of heading northeast. 44 goes goes northeast into 44 goes northeast into St. Louis. All the highways that have been built across this country. Unbelievable. All built in the 70s and the 60s when things were a lot cheaper. Well, I'll tell you right now, and I'm gonna tell this to everybody right now, okay? So everybody can be prepared for what's gonna happen. And I've told people this before. I told this last week last week when we were coming here. I said one way to get this economy on a roll to where it's a dynamo is lower the cost of energy. And if a certain guy gets in office and he opens the spigots and oil is as cheap as it can possibly get, this economy will fix itself within 1 year. Inflation will drop to 0 or 2%. Okay, 0 or 2% within a year. And a dynamo, all of a sudden, there'll be a dynamo just, and there are going to be people wanting to do anything they can to make money. And there's going to be investments like nothing before. I'm just telling you. That's what's going to happen. It is inevitable. Inevitable. 100%.
Kristen, where are you?
We are 44 going northeast to St. Louis, people. How many?
Isn't the one
We are mile marker 91. No, 58. Mile marker 58 eastbound on 44.
Wait, now the one's the one pushing to turn. Is it still pushing?
It's probably pushing behind us now.
Still pushing this way.
It's always pushing this way.
Yay! Want to get annoyed real quick?
No. Why don't you read the comments? Look at all those comments. You haven't read a single one to me.
I heard that my
Unbelievable.
surgery 1 week away, then 5 days to the ICU. Then they send me home. Oh no, Jim said. Nobody's coming back. Jim Benito said, OMG, I can stand here.
We are 18 miles to Springfield, Missouri.
Check your maps. I want to see when we get home so I can eat Mama.
We're not getting home tonight.
I know. I want Mama. I want Mama. Tommy Georgia. Black and putting weird emojis. I want Mama.
Well, I guess some big news happened today. What's his name? Brad, that's in charge of the Cleveland Hobby Show, or Cleveland Slot Car Show. They found a new building. So in October of this year, they're going to a new facility that's going to be unlimited, really.
No Mama slots in SpongeBob, my boy. Because I'm also wearing SpongeBob and I'm just being SpongeBob.
Well, there's only one truck stop that I stop at anymore on my trips because I save 10 cents a gallon. Love's. And they're everywhere. Love's is everywhere. Don't forget, in June, Love's is gonna, and we're heading to, that's what really cool is, we're heading to Myrtle Beach in June. Hopefully on our way back, we can get a bunch of those NASCAR sets. Oh my gosh.
Bucky! Where'd you see Bucky?
Bucky's over here by,
Bucky! Arbuckle said Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's is just a glorified gas station.
No, it's a cute little beaver gas station.
A cute little beaver gas station.
It's funny how I haven't gone on a rant today. Right? It's funny how I haven't got mad today.
You have gotten mad.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yes, you did. He was trying to destroy everything.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
No. Be quiet. Don't
We are 228 miles to St. Louis. Basically 3 hours. We are 3 hours away.
How many miles?
3 hours.
How many miles?
3 hours.
That's hours, not miles.
228 miles.
We need
80
gas.
miles. We're doing 80 miles an hour. There's a Love's truck right here.
Love's trucking?
Yep, they're all yellow. Yellow Love's truck.
You
There
need
it is,
gas.
baby. There's a
You need
yellow Love's
gas.
truck, guy, right there.
Yeah, why
Coming
does
up
look
on
so
it.
far?
Look at that, Love's Connect. Love's Connect app. Look at that, baby. Love's. There's the Love Semi, the tanker. We have that slot car truck right there.
gas.
Love
Is
Semi.
that carrying gas?
Yeah, baby, that's carrying Love's. There must be a Love's right up the road here. We'll probably stop, and that guy will probably follow us right into it. Love's.
And don't say anything about me getting mad.
Yeah, you want me to. That's what you want.
No.
Yeah, you do. Because you got. Yeah, you're sick. You're a very sick boy. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Yeah. See, that's what he does. And so I ignore him now.
You can get annoyed by me real easily.
So, that's gonna be nice to have that Love set.
It's just
Boy,
a
you
set.
guys want to save your money for those. Everybody better get ready.
I have one Love set left.
Everybody.
Arbuckle said I have one Love set left. Do you want to buy his Love set? Nobody's on
Well, all I can tell you is this, guys. Okay, we have been selling a ton of slot cars since I've been gone. I mean, people are buying race sets. They are buying cars. Everybody is buying slot cars. That's all I can say.
Nobody's on to tell them the story of the boy who cried wolf. Because that's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah, that's what you were doing. You were a crying wolf. If you don't stop it, I'm going to pull your hair out.
Please do! Can you have it signed by a homeless person?
Oh, you know what we'll do? Let's do something fun for right now.
You don't call Steve.
No, because I never can get a hold of Steve. Let's call Nick and have fun with him. Let's call Nick.
Are you doing Boys Night Friday, Mandy?
Yes, Boys Night Friday. Let's call Nick real quick. Because Nick called me this week and he was upset that I had not called him and he thought that I didn't like him anymore. Okay? Hey, Nick! How's my adopted son doing? Nick, how you doing? I'm doing great. I I wanted to call you, and I'm doing a live stream right now, and I wanted to call you because I felt that you thought that I, didn't love you anymore, and that I wanted to just kind of give you encouragement, and just wanted to encourage because he's been with this company for 9 months now. He's got insurance and everything, and he's really moving ahead in life. And he wanted to be encouraged, and because I'm not his official dad yet, because I haven't adopted him yet, that I'm kind of failing in that aspect. So I just wanted to let you know that we need to get moving on this adoption so that I can officially be a part of your life, because you're only 27 years old. You're a child right now, Nick. No, you're not. Oh, wait, no, they're not hearing you because I've got my earbud in.
No, put it on. Put it on speaker.
So they can't hear you. But they just wanted to know and then David was talking about you, and so I said, let's just call Nick and see how Nick's doing.
Goldman.
So how's Nick doing? A gaming PC? You're gonna buy a gaming PC?
That's not a very good investment.
I told you. Well, don't buy one yet because we can go to Sam's. They've got gaming PCs that are really good price, and I'll take you to Sam's and let's check to see what kind of pricing we can check on one. Okay, and they've got really nice ones there for $600, $700, $800. I know that. I was building PCs, gaming PCs in the 90s. I must have built one every year. No, they're not the same gaming PCs. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's gonna buy one on eBay. Oh my gosh.
No, don't do
Once you're my son, you'll understand how you need to listen to me more often. Yeah, we need to get that worked on. We need to get that adoption moved forward. You need to really decide whether you want to be a part of the Youngs or not. Okay, Nick? What do you mean? I like that. That's pretty good. Okay. Well, I don't talk to all my kids every single day. Daniel must call me every day, 5 times. He calls me. Daniel calls me every minute of the day. Okay. I get tired of listening to Daniel. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. What time do you go to work tonight, Nikki, baby? Oh, you took off. Remember now, don't put an egg in the microwave.
Stop giving him flashbacks.
Don't give him flashbacks. Well, all right, so let's touch base this weekend, okay, Nick? No, don't buy it yet. Don't buy it yet. Let me look into it, okay?
David's losing it, lol. What am I losing?
Of course, you want to game all the time with your friends. I know that.
But Marky at 12 o'clock.
I understand. I totally understand. Nothing wrong with having a good gaming. I had gaming PCs all through the 90s. I was playing all the latest games. All of them. Yep, I had World of Warcraft. I had StarCraft. That's my favorite game, was StarCraft. And then I had to get a new computer for StarCraft 2. Yep. Way ahead of you there, buddy. Way ahead. Hey, it's getting kind of dark, guys. Holy cow.
High as a kite.
What?
Someone said the kid is high as a kite.
Yes. All right, Nick. We will be in touch, okay? Hey, have you seen Dune yet? You want to go see Dune this weekend?
Just scrolled back. Our book was the best man.
You'll be down to see that. He'll be down. Well, it's a guy's
best.
night out.
It's the best.
Maybe she can go with Catherine, and on a girls' night out. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. All right, give me. Bye. Well, we'll see. Give me a call on Friday, okay? All right, buddy. Bye. All right, now, so we're losing light, okay? What did that guy just say?
Oh, I didn't see that our book all the best man. I had some stuff done. Also, you do great, man. They got all that stuff down pat.
Yeah, Dune was terrible.
It was the
Oh, it was terrible. All right, we don't have any lights here. You can't even see. We're not going to be able to do this much longer.
And we got all those lights back there. I'll turn the middle one off. You want to end early?
Yeah, we're going to have to. We're going to run out. I can't run with this light on.
Ah.
Because all of a sudden the light, there's certain ambient light that keeps the light, and all of a sudden it changed, and there's no light now.
Turn it back
That's
on.
kind of funny.
And you can see.
Now, like if I go this way, there's plenty of light. Look at that.
That is
See how
so
bright?
weird.
Isn't that weird? But if I turn it this way, there's no light.
Oh, you can turn the light on. See, look how much light you have.
Well, guys, what time is it? We've been on for an hour. That's good enough.
Oh, maybe.
All right. Well,
Can you beat me up?
everybody, thank you very much for watching tonight's live stream. It had nothing to do with slot cars, other than the history of slot cars in my life. I want to thank everybody. I hope everybody has a good night tonight. And just thank you for Tinker and Sons. Tinker and Sons, baby. Now just remember, Tinker and Sons. Hasta la vista, baby.